I now have a Discord, so click the link in the description to join. The weapons of Halo have always been one of the most iconic parts of the series, whether it's the bulky assault rifle or the gigantic magnum. But if it's one thing most Halo weapons have in common, it's the lack of customization. These firearms definitely were designed with customization in mind. That is, until Halo 5's Warzone was released. Being a much more casual game mode, 343 experimented with the idea of attachments, and fans of the series didn't seem to mind. So after the success of another Warzone you might have heard of, and with it, Modern Warfare's Gunsmith, it's not crazy to think that the guns in Halo Infinite would take some inspiration. So what if Halo Infinite had a gunsmith? Greetings, Vernissage here. Before we begin, and before you click the dislike button, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying I want weapon customization in regular multiplayer. This is more meant for something like the yet-to-be-announced third mode. Now, back to the video. I've had this idea in my head for a while now, ever since the release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And since we've gotten a closer look at Infinite's weapons, I thought, what better time to do it than now? As you might have guessed, I'll be customizing some of Halo Infinite's weapons with attachments from both Halo 5 as well as the real world. I'm not saying all of these builds make sense, I just want to see what crazy setups you can come up with if they were to include a gunsmith in Halo Infinite. Without further ado, let's begin. What better way to start than the fan favorite battle rifle? Or more specifically, the BR-75. This design mostly resembles the BR-55, but comes with a more slim stock, and more importantly, rails for further customization. We can see that the BR-75 has some great overall stats. Not only is it both accurate and deadly, but the bursts are fired at a very high rate of fire, and it's still fairly lightweight for the amount of damage it deals. But let's say you want to increase the range of it. Enter the heavy build. While it brings down both mobility and control, the heavy barrel greatly increases the range. And to give the BR-75 a classic touch, the scope from the BR-55 HB is included. As you may already have figured out, this build gives the Infinite's battle rifle the overall look of Halo 3's. While it might not be the most exciting build, I wanted to show that you can use parts from older legacy weapons to turn one version of a gun into another. In this case, the BR-75 became the BR-55 HB. But what if you want to look like an ODST, walking down the rainy streets of New Mombasa? I give to you the suppressed build. Since gunfights in cities usually don't require a long-range scope, a mini reflex sight has been placed on the weapon, along with a mounted flashlight to make sure nothing's lurking in the shadows. The MA40 cheek pad makes up for the increased aim-down sight speed caused by the 50-round mag. And to give you that ODST touch, the tactical suppressor is attached to the muzzle, bringing down the effective range. This build, while it might worsen the handling of the gun and your mobility, it gives you less recoil due to the cheek pad, and a lot more ammo to work with. While we've seen some interesting builds, they're kind of standard. What if you want to give it a Covenant flair? Then here's the Fuel Rod build. As the name implies, this build features an underbarrel fuel rod launcher. To go along with it, a Covenant Temple optic was added, to give it a unified golden look. While the launcher brings down not only your mobility, but the control. The stippled grip tape helps to increase the handling of the weapon. And as a bonus, a plasma grenade charm was added to the side of the BR. These builds, while keeping the base of the BR75, experiments with not only the optic, but the barrel, as well as the stock. And some even go as far as to bring in non-human equipment. The VK78 Commando is a brand new weapon to the series, acting sort of as a bridge between the assault rifle and the DMR. From the stats, we can see that the Commando has quite high damage and impressive range. However, this comes at a slow rate of fire and rather low mobility. But what if you wanted to increase that mobility and even the fire rate? Introducing the SMG build. If you're willing to lose damage, range, and even accuracy in favor of faster handling, a higher rate of fire, and an increase in mobility, this is the build for you. To make the weapon much more lightweight, the barrel is shortened to fit the more CQC playstyle. The standard stock is replaced with a skeleton stock, and even the optic was entirely removed, making this a hip-fire only setup. To combat this, a 1mW laser was added to tighten up the bullet spread. And speaking of bullets, the standard VK78 magazine was replaced with a 32 round 9mm magazine, which increases the fire rate while doing less damage. A great setup for those who crave some more speed and action. For the next build, what if we do the opposite? What if the weapon is built for range and accuracy while losing mobility? Enter the sniper build. While not technically being a sniper, this setup uses both the scope and the stock from the SRS-99 S5, the Halo 5 sniper rifle. Its range is increased due to the sniper barrel, and the recoil is reduced thanks to the vertical foregrip. The setup is best suited for medium to long range, being basically a fully automatic, slightly weaker sniper rifle. For the VK78's last setup, it's time for something a bit more out there. This is the Unconventional Build. If you're willing to completely ruin your accuracy for better mobility and handling, this is just the setup for you. It does this by removing the stock, giving it a very unbalanced look. It also includes a tactical suppressor, a hybrid optic, and a threat marker, to somehow make up for the inability to stay on target while firing this monstrosity. And to give you something to look at, an ODST helmet is attached to the weapon. As the name implies, this setup isn't optimal, but it is possible. The VK78 Commando saw some very diverse builds. Although, looking at a more specific setup, it might be best to just keep it simple with this one. The assault rifle has seen two very different designs over the years, and Halo Infinite chose to go with the MA37 look, as opposed to the more classic MA5 assault rifles. The MA40 is very similar to its predecessor, only slightly changing the color scheme, with a few new details. While it has the lowest damage yet, it makes up for this with its rate of fire and handling. While increasing the damage might be a difficult task, improving the range could possibly make it compete against the BR and the Commando at longer ranges. I give to you the heavy build. Not only does the MA5D heavy barrel increase the range, it also includes the Smart Link feature from Halo 5, allowing you to zoom in with the assault rifle. While the MA40's accuracy was quite good to begin with, its spread made it difficult to use at longer ranges. But thanks to the ergonomic foregrip, the spread becomes much more tolerable. And just in case you miss a few shots, the 50 round mags are there to help you. Now, maybe you're the silent type. Maybe you like to stick to the shadows. If so, I have just the thing. The suppressed build. This setup, of course, features a suppressor. While it keeps whoever's using it off the radar, it also decreases the effective range. For a more clear view, the ammo counter is replaced with a cog sight. And finally, to tighten the bullet spread and improve the sprint to fire speed, a 5mm laser is included. Just note, this laser will be visible to enemy players. It's overall a simple build, but effective for those who like to keep a low profile. The final MA40 build is for those who aren't afraid to think outside the box. It's also for those who are strong enough to carry it. This is the one-man army build. As you might have guessed, this build gives you the power of an entire army. It features a 2x scope from the BR55 for those who are brave enough to snipe with an MA40, and a bayonet for those who are insane enough to go close and personal with this MA40. If that doesn't weigh enough, there's the underbarrel grenade launcher and the 80 round mag, which should do the trick. A UNSC charm is also included on the side of the gun. The result is an extremely deadly assault rifle at most ranges, but it sacrifices most of its mobility and control to achieve this. While all of these setups build off of one single weapon, the unique variations could almost make you think they're all their own thing. The final weapon we'll be taking a look at is the Cqs48 Bulldog. This shotgun replaces the one we've previously seen in the games, and opts for a more faster fire rate, while having lower damage than the one that came before it. The small size of the weapon also means the Bulldog is very lightweight compared to the weapons previously seen in this video. So what if we make it even more lightweight? Enter the Tactical Build. To make the weapon even lighter than it was, the standard stock is replaced with a tactical stock, which increases mobility while decreasing control. The standard foregrip is also replaced with a familiar forend, which makes the weapon lighter while increasing the aim down sight speed. To get a small range buff, the precision barrel is added, along with a muzzle brake to decrease the amount of recoil. And to get a more clear view, a recon sight is attached as a final touch. For the second build, let's try something a bit different. Let's add some range to this close quarters shotgun. I present to you the Slug Build. This setup goes for maximum range, which is obvious, with not only the long shot barrel, but of course, the 10 round slug mags. These two attachments double the range of the Bulldog, turning it into sort of a close range sniper. And to match this new range, a sentinel scope is also added. If, however, you'd have to get close and personal, the 1mm laser should help you with a hip fire. And the final Bulldog build, and the final build of this video, had to be special. Introducing the Promethean Build. While only featuring 3 attachments, this setup is definitely unique. The mag this time around is a 20 round phased mag, meaning thanks to Foreigner technology, an additional 10 shells can be stored in this magazine. Don't ask me how, ask the Foreigners. A morph sight, similar to the light rifle's optic, was also added to give it a Foreigner look. And finally, there's the Kinetic Modifier. This muzzle attachment turns the pellets into hard light coming out of the barrel, increasing the damage and even the range. To not make this too powerful, however, the rate of fire is decreased when this attachment is selected. And of course, on the side of the gun, there's a guilty spark charm. What once was a fairly weak close quarters shotgun has now seen some different ways in how you can make it fill a very specific niche. And there we have it. That's all of the different weapon builds I made for this video. Some realistic, some not so much. Creating these setups, it really got me thinking a lot about how you could introduce true weapon customization to the world of Halo. Again, arena multiplayer is a big no-no, but maybe in like a third game mode, or even the campaign. Obviously, they'd never rip off Modern Warfare the same way I did, but it doesn't have to be bad to take inspiration from it just because it's Call of Duty. Now, if you choose to spare my life and even like this video, let me know if you want another video like this, maybe with Covenant weapons. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for 10,000 subscribers. I honestly expected this channel to die within the first 6 months. Instead, we're moving unbelievably fast in both views and subscribers. So as a thank you, I gave you all the option to vote for what my next video should be here on YouTube. And it's looking like I'm gonna be redesigning Promethean weapons, so stay tuned. If you like this video, give it a like. If not, a dislike. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I wish you all the best, and take care. Vernissage, out.